Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Acquire. This is designed by Sid Sackson, and it is published by Renegade Game Studio.
Yes, this is the Renegade edition. This is the newest version. This is brand new. This has gone through a million iterations, going back thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
No, I have had...
When they had hubby board games.
I have played all the way from the Avalon Hill edition all the way up till now. I've played all the different iterations of the game. Maybe not all of them. I might have missed one or two. But the point is, I've played a lot of different versions of this game. And this particular edition has kept the core of the spirit of all of it. And updated the look, updated the art, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me give you a quick overview of how to play this classic masterpiece. All right, here is our setup for Acquire. We have our board here, which is kind of three-dimensional, so that way our tiles that go on there lock into place. We have all of our tiles over here that match on to all the different spots over here. We're going to start the game with 6 of them dealt out to us. Every turn, we're going to play one and draw another one. We also have all of our money over there. We're going to start the game with $6,000 we're going to use to be able to buy our stocks. And over here, we actually have all the different stocks and all the different companies as well. At the beginning of the game, you're going to need to choose whether you're going to play the Classic mode or the Tycoon mode. The Classic mode is basically how the game was originally designed. It plays out to 2 places when you're deciding bonuses. The Tycoon mode pays out 3 places when you're doing the stockholder bonuses. Alright, so when you're going your turn, you have a little reference card here that shows the turn sequence. And basically, you're going to just take one of your tiles, you're going to place it on the board. Then, if you have any stocks available, you're going to be able to buy some stocks. And then you're going to draw to replace. If you ever cause a merger, which I'll show you in a minute, you'll flip the board over, and you go over the steps for the mergers. So let me show you what a couple of turns might look like. Alright, so let's place one of our tiles over here on the board. And now we have the opportunity to buy stocks. Right now, there are no companies that are open, meaning there's no buildings on them, so we can't buy anything quite yet. So let's simply redraw, and our turn is done. Alright, the next player is going to have a chance to go. They're going to redraw as well. It's going to keep on going around in circle until someone has made a company. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make it one of these hotel chains. By putting 2 together, we now have created a company. We could just select one of these companies, put its little tower, its little hotel figure, onto our little conglomerate there. Let's choose green. Let's choose the festival. We'll put it on one of those. We also get 1 stock as kind of a founder's bonus for starting that company. And now we finally have a company that we can buy stocks from. So we go to our chart over here. We look at what company we have. We have Festival. We look at what size it is. It's currently 2 size big. And that means they are $300 a piece. So we can buy up to 3 stocks. In this case, that would cost $900 to get 3 of those stocks. We started the game with $6,000. Let's go ahead and do it. We had nothing to lose, right? Another player might do something like this over the course of their turns. And they make their own company. So now what's going to happen is, once again, they get a chance to choose one of these companies. Put that little tower there. And they also get to starting one of those founders bonuses as well. And of course, as always, we need to redraw at the end of our turn. Alright, so now we have an opportunity. If we play this piece right here, it would actually merge those 2 companies together. They would be combined on the board. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, we're not going to flip it over quite yet. We're going to flip it upside down just to show that a merger is happening. But now what we need to do is we need to determine which one of these companies is getting merged into which one. In this case, the bigger company is always going to merge with a smaller company. If they were equal, you'd get a chance to choose. So that green company, that Festival, is no longer going to be around anymore. It's going to be absorbed into the American. So now we need to go through the steps on our steps for merger. This is basically going to state that now we need to count to see who has the most of that stock. So we've got 4 of this stock because we bought a lot of it. Maybe someone else has 1 or 2. So then we're going to go over to our Tycoon board here, and we are going to see who has the stockholder bonus. So if it ended as a 2, that means it's going to get absorbed as a 2. Whoever had the most stocks in that company is going to get $3,000. Whoever had second most is going to get $2,200. If there was someone who had third most, they would get $1,500. And that's just kind of a bonus. That doesn't actually involve the stocks at all. Now this 4th step over here determines what you should do with your stocks. Each person's going to get a chance to make the decision. You can keep them, meaning if you think that later on in the game, Festival's going to come back on the board, meaning someone's going to, when they make it their own company, they're going to use green and put it on the board somewhere. You can actually hang on to these and hope that that comes back into play later on. Alternatively, you could sell them. In that case, what you would do is, again, you'd go to this chart, you'd see that we were at Festival and we were at 2. You can sell them for $300 a piece. In this case, that's what we bought them for, so I'm not really interested in doing that right now. I'd rather just hang on to them. It's pretty early in the game. The last option is you can trade them in at a 2-to-1 ratio. So we have 4 of these festival stocks right here. What we can do is we can turn 4 of them into 2 of whatever the buying hotel is. So we can turn 4 festival stocks into 2 American stocks. Now if we go to the chart here, we see that we're about to become a 6th size American. That's going to put us in this range here of $700 a piece. So 4 300s is worth $1,200 a piece, or 2 $700 is worth $1,400, or worth $1,400. So that is worth it. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to trade in our 4 American stocks for 2 of the American stocks. That's kind of the biggest hiccup in the game, is when you get to one of these merger steps. You have to kind of stop, you have to determine who's getting bought out, you have to determine who has the most of that stock, and then you have the opportunity to either keep, sell, or trade those stocks. When all that's resolved, you're going to flip that one back over, and now you have one company representing where those 2 companies used to be. And of course, to redraw at the end of your turn, like always, you will have a chance to buy 3 stocks, again, like always, but now Festival is no longer one of the options that you can buy. That's really all the rest of the game. You're just going to be placing tiles on the board and trying to make those companies. Once you make companies, you're going to try to buy those stocks, raise those companies' values up so that when you sell them, you get the most amount of money. Once one of these companies has a spot that is 11 big, that means it is safe. It cannot be merged once it is safe. It can still absorb smaller companies that are not safe. But once you have 11 or more tiles, that company cannot be bought out. Board is going to get more and more constricted, less and less places where you can put things, and you're going to be forced to either grow companies or make new ones. The game end is going to be triggered once there are either all the companies on the board are considered safe, meaning they have 11 or more tiles in them, or there's one company that has 41 tiles, one mega massive company. At that point, the player can choose to call the end of the game and finish the round. Also, if they're not sure that they're winning, they can actually choose to not call the end of the game and wait until a little bit later on. Maybe finish up some things, make some sales, do whatever they need to do. At any point, once those conditions have been met though, any player can on their turn call the end of the game. Once the game ends, you're going to finish your turns as normal, and then what you're going to do is you're going to look at all the different companies that are out there. You're going to pay out the primary and secondary, possibly tertiary, if you're playing with the second or the tycoon mode, stockholder bonuses for all the active chains. Then you're going to sell all your stocks back based on getting off this chart over here, how big the chain is, all that kind of stuff, and how many you have, and you're going to get cash. And then you're going to add up all of your money. Whoever has the most money wins the game.
I loved that 3D board. It was so cool and exactly what you needed in a game like this because things are shifting and you need to be able to see it. And I just cannot imagine playing on a flat board when you're putting all these tiles. One little bump, one little move, one little extra piece of cloth would destroy the whole game. I'm curious.
Which happened with one of the editions.
Let me know. It was rough. Let me know in the comments below if you've played this game and if you have any animals. I want to know if it withstands that as well. Like, I'm curious.
Like cat, like batting it around.
Yes. So I thought it was for this game. That's what you needed, and that's what you got.
All right, so this particular edition introduces the Tycoon version of the game versus the Classic mode of the game. And basically, the Classic mode of the game keeps all the rules the same and allows you, it has all the payouts and all that stuff, all the stockholder dividends and stockholder payouts are the same. The Tycoon edition adds, or the Tycoon mode of play adds in some additional kind of payouts. So if you are in a tiebreaker situation or something like that where you're not going to get any money, playing with the Tycoon edition is a lot more free with the money. So it's much more friendly for new players or maybe even just, I would say, modern players. You know, not just new players to this game, but in general, I think people like getting paid out in games. It's more fun. You can do things faster, and it speeds the game up so you can kind of get to those points where you can buy more stocks quicker, which pushes the game along, which is what you like.
I think that's funny that the Tycoon edition is the easier one, or the better, not better, but the one for modern players. Like, you always think that those editions are going to be harder, but no, this just makes the game go faster.
Well, in a capitalistic society like this, like tycoons are better.
Yeah.
They have more money.
Yeah, this is what you want. I also really liked the building pieces. They were really cool looking. They were very 3D, but it was also nice because the building really referenced the card. So it was really easy to retrieve your bonds, or what am I trying to say? Stocks. Thank you, bonds.
So the right color, and they have the right shape of the building.
Yes, and so it was actually very easy to see what was on the board, and then to reference that sheet, and also to reference the pieces that you have, the stocks that you had. So I just thought it's really simple, right? I mean, they could have just done like a simple color, but they made all the buildings different, and they looked all different on the stock pieces, and they looked all different when you were referencing that board. So I just thought that was a really simple thing to have done well, and they did it very well.
These turns are lightning fast. Well, most of them. But a lot of times what you're doing is you're just placing a piece out there and redrawing. Maybe buying some stocks if you have the money for it, if there's companies out there. But especially at the beginning of the game, you're just putting pieces out there, redrawing. Putting pieces out there, redrawing. Eventually there's going to come a time where you start making companies, you start making, the conglomerates, and then you start getting the ability to buy stocks. That slows things down a little bit, but not much, because you know the prices. There's the chart right there, you know the prices, you buy them, it's over with, you redraw, you're over with. Where the game kind of does screech to a halt a little bit is when you have a merger between those two hotel chains. When you have those mergers, then you've got to start doing some math and some payouts and things like that. A lot of games do have...
I don't do math. I just tell Ryan I have 6. I have 6 stocks. What do I get?
So there is this, that kind of screech to the action, the screeching halt to the action. A lot of games do have, rounds where they'll have some kind of a cleanup mechanism or an income phase or whatever. And this has it, but it's in the middle of a turn, right? So it feels a little different. It's like all these turns are going 5-second turns, 10-second turns. Then all of a sudden, okay, we're having a 4-minute long turn now as we resolve all these effects and pay out all this money.
Yeah.
So I will say that most of the turns are lightning fast, and even still, everyone's involved in the payouts because they're looking at charts, they're asking for their money, all that stuff. So you're still involved. It's not like it's a bad thing. It just some turns are different than others.
Yeah. We do really like the buildings, but was there something we didn't like about this game?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about the paper money.
Oh my gosh.
Paper money in 2023 is bad news, Bears.
I was so frustrated.
No, I will say that almost every time I played Acquire previous to this, we used poker chips. And I think a lot of games that involve stocks, people replace the money that's in the game with poker chips. When I play Silverton, or when I play an 18xx game, or when I play whatever it is, we use poker chips. It's just how you play these kinds of games. It just seems to be like it's almost built-in assumption that hardcore players of these games are going to be substituting in poker chips for these paper money. I think that Acquire, especially a newer version of Acquire, that assumption is out the window because you're playing with potential new players. You're playing with people who aren't familiar with that style of, make sure you bring your poker chips with along. And then they're going to see this paper money and be like, are we playing Monopoly here? What's going on? This is weird. So they did an excellent job updating the art, upgrading the pieces, keeping the board the 3D style that everyone really liked. They wanted to bring that back. They did everything right except for the paper money.
So what was that? Like, what was going on there?
So if you've got poker chips, which I'm sure a lot of people do who play these style of games, these stock style of games, use the poker chips.
So overall, I am going to make the board gaming world hate me because I just wasn't a fan of this game. Like, I don't know... Because it's fine. It's great. It's super smooth. It's streamlined. Like Ryan said, you only have those like 4-minute things every once in a while. But you're trying to plan for that and make that happen at the same time. But I felt with the type of games that I like to play, the stocks with that little bit of chance. I don't want to say it was necessarily luck because you can try to plan. You can see what's out there, what other tiles are still ready to be played, and you can kind of guess. But the combination of those two things just did not merge with my brain, and I never felt like I could make the right choice, which is also why I shouldn't play the stock game in real life, because I'm sure it's similar in the sense of you have an idea, but you really have no idea what's going to happen. So you don't know when to buy or sell or do all of that stuff. So I just struggled to play the game well because of those two things. I just could not get them to work in my mind.
All right, so I'm going to have to disagree here. That way we don't get, absolutely just hated by the internet. But I'm always impressed with Acquire. I have loved Acquire for a long, long time. Like I said, there are many different versions of the game, many different little changes. I remember with all the different original hotel chain names, all that stuff. I love Acquire. So the question then holds, does this hold up? Does Acquire hold up in 2023? If this were released in 2023, would it have the same impact that it had back then? I'm going to say probably not. It does feel, despite all the changes and all the great looks and all that stuff, it does still feel like an older design. A fantastic older design, a really great older design, but it still has a little bit of that vestigial, older style things going on. A little bit of that chance kind of stuff that you're talking about that is, you don't see in a lot of modern Euros. Nonetheless, what an amazing classic game, and this is the best version. Like I said, I've played a lot of them. This is the best edition of Acquire. If you're an Acquire fan, I think you're really going to like this particular Renegade edition. And everything you like, plus some additional kind of modifications as well.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.